In a serene glow of eternity, a man named Thomas found himself standing before the pearly gates of heaven. He was bewildered, his heart pounding with a mix of hope and trepidation. St. Peter stood before him, his expression serious yet compassionate.
Welcome, Thomas. I'm afraid I have some unfortunate news. Your good deeds equal only 49.5%.
Thomas gasped, confusion washing over him. But I've done so much good. I volunteered, I helped my neighbors, and just moments before I died, I was signing a check to support an orphanage.
St. Peter nodded, but his expression remained unchanged. Alas, it seems that your final act was not recorded. The Reaper took you 5 seconds too early.
Before Thomas could protest, he felt a jarring pull, and suddenly he was in a dark, fiery realm. Hell, the air was thick with despair, and the cries of the damned echoed around him. He wandered through the shadows, heart heavy with the weight of injustice. Years passed, or perhaps they were eons. Time felt warped in hell.
Did you hear about the guy who ended up here because he died 5 seconds too early?
What a way to lose out on heaven. Just 5 seconds. A spark ignited within Thomas. He had to make his case to God. If he could only explain the misunderstanding, surely he could prove his worth.
With newfound determination, he set out on a treacherous journey across the infernal landscape, seeking the grand throne of God. After what felt like centuries of torment, he finally reached a cavernous hall bathed in an ethereal light. At its center sat God, radiant and powerful. Thomas fell to his knees, overwhelmed by the grandeur. "God," he cried out, voice trembling, "I seek an audience. I have been wronged."
God looked down, his gaze piercing yet understanding. "Speak, Thomas."
Taking a deep breath, Thomas recounted his tale. He spoke of the orphanage, his good intentions, and the cruel twist of fate that had robbed him of his final deed being recorded. "I was so close to doing something wonderful," he pleaded. 5 seconds, God. Just 5 seconds separated me from heaven."
God listened intently, eyes reflecting the weight of eternity. "Your intentions were noble, Thomas, and I see the truth in your heart. However, the rules of judgment are stringent. You were given a life to fulfill your deeds, and you fell short."
"But it was an accident," Thomas insisted, desperation rising in his voice. "It wasn't my fault."
God regarded him thoughtfully. "Indeed, fate can be cruel, but every soul is judged by the totality of their actions, not merely the circumstances of their death. What would you do if I were to grant you another chance?" Thomas's heart raced. "I would do everything in my power to help others to live a life of compassion and kindness." "Very well. I will offer you a chance at redemption. You may return to Earth, but you will be given only a single day. Use it wisely."
In an instant, Thomas found himself back in his old neighborhood, the sun shining brightly as he breathed in the familiar air. A sense of urgency filled him. He had only a day to make his mark.
With determination, he rushed to the orphanage, where he had intended to donate the check. First, he signed the check. Then he spent the day helping with meals, playing with the children, and sharing stories. He connected deeply with each child, understanding their struggles and joys.
As the sun began to set, Thomas realized the day was nearly over. He felt a profound sense of fulfillment, but he knew he needed one last act to truly honor his second chance. He gathered the children and shared with them his story of hope and resilience, encouraging them to dream big and never give up. As the final light faded, Thomas felt a warmth envelop him.
In that moment, he knew he had done enough. He had not just acted, he had inspired.
Once again, Thomas found himself at the gates of heaven. St. Peter stood waiting, a knowing smile on his face.
Welcome back, Thomas. Your good deeds now exceed 100%.
Thomas couldn't help but grin, tears of joy streaming down his face.
It was all worth it.
As he stepped through the gates, he realized that sometimes the smallest moments can hold the greatest power. And in his heart, he knew he would never take a second for granted again.